But there are a couple things that you can't carve to your liking. One, because there's no button for this on any monitor console in the world, is soundstage.
Yeah.
That is something that is inherent to the monitor, and you can't fake that. There's not a plug-in on your X32 that's going to create that sense of space and openness and three-dimensionality where you can place something way over here, something else way down there, and really get that expansive experience.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that you can't just dial in after the fact is how it fits.
Yeah.
And to me, putting a set of in-ears in your ears and going, you know what, these don't have enough of this frequency, I don't like these. Well, there are ways to add that frequency. There are ways to subtract this frequency. There's ways to carve it up so that you can really make it at least close to what you're really hoping out of your IEMs. What I'm listening for when we're R&Ding and what I'm searching for, one, soundstage, three-dimensionality. Is that there? If so, that's going to enable me on stage to really create exactly what I want to hear, create lanes for everything, create that sense of natural openness while I'm on stage, but also, and something we worked really, really, really hard on, is a perfect fit.
Yeah.
Now that is something that is underrated, wildly underrated. I would venture to say that fit is more important than sound. How they fit is more important than how they sound. Well, first of all, if they don't fit properly, it almost doesn't matter how they sound.
Yeah.
Because the way the frequencies are going to be bleeding out of your ears anyways, and the way the room and the ambient sound is going to be bleeding into your ears, you'll never be able to get an IEM mix that you're satisfied with anyways if they don't fit properly.
Yeah.
Not to mention,
100%.
are they comfortable? Can you wear these things for a 3-hour set and not actually be in pain? Or just have a sweaty, itchy mess going on in your ears that takes you out of the moment? And fit is an issue that when I joined the company and started working with you in 2018, something that you slaved over with every set of impressions that came in when we were making custom IEMs, to really, in your vast knowledge and experience and training, take a look at a set of impressions and go, okay, here's some tweaks that I think need to be made to ensure that these things fit as best they possibly can with the impressions that I've been given.
Yeah.
I'm curious how often you got maybe what I'll just call a perfect impression from somebody, and also what can go wrong when you're getting your impressions done that will essentially keep you from ever having a perfect fitting IEM.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great question. Yeah, I've gotten great impressions, but largely because I am not an audiologist. I am not trained, but I did work in a hearing aid clinic for 6 years with audiologists that, I learned a lot. I learned how to take impressions. I learned how to do hearing tests. I learned how to take hearing aids apart. I learned all that stuff. So I started taking impressions, so I could get exactly what I wanted. I knew. So, however, when a client wasn't local and I had audiologists that I worked with that got great impressions too, but it was somebody I didn't know, I'd get impressions and they would look good. We're like, okay, we got second bend, we got the full helix, we're looking good. And then I would design them and I'd, send them out and the client would try them on and go, they don't seal. And to be fair, 90% of the time it was the helix was sticking out.
Right.
And use the helix in, send me a picture of the helix is sticking out, get the helix in, where usually problem resolved. But fit is everything. And, I took the better part of, I'm probably exaggerating, but probably 10,000 sets of impressions. I had boxes and boxes and boxes of impressions that I took.
Yeah.
And 3D, just, scan them, design them on the computer, ship them out. This doesn't work. The helix is too big. It's comfortable. There's a little thing in the canal. Like I shaved it off, but not quite enough. Rebuild, just rebuild after rebuild. And I was pretty good at it. I was pretty quick at, rebuilding and getting guys on the road. But the whole custom scenario and to be fair to manufacturers, when somebody gets them, it's a lot of work to build a pair of custom monitors.
Absolutely.
And they get sent back and you got to rebuild them. It's a lot of work. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot of wait time.
Yep.
And us sort of being the only sort of custom in-ear monitor in Canada, anybody else is going to the US and customs and duty and waiting. It was a wee bit of a nightmare.
Yeah.
To do it. And to be fair to manufacturers who at the time were offering 30-day fit guarantee. Like 30 days? There's no way anybody's going to know they fit and get them back to you within 30 days.
Right.
And I understand from manufacturers, like, we can't just keep rebuilding them.
Yeah.
And I know for me, I just kept rebuilding them. I'm like, screw that 30 day, but it catches up. It catches up to you, or I'm like, this is too much. I can't. 3 years later, I can't. It's hard to like build another pair of customs. So you start to, it sort of impounds on the manufacturer if they're really trying to offer that level of customer service, which led to, there's got to be a better solution.
Absolutely.
For everybody.
I mean, only a portion of this can even be pegged on the manufacturer, because they're working with the impressions that are being sent to them.
Yeah.
They didn't take those impressions.
Yeah.
And when those impressions were done, does your audiologist have a lot of experience doing impressions, not just for hearing aids, but for musician IEMs? That's a totally different ballgame. You need different things. Was the auto block put in correctly? How much tension was on your jaw? Have you gone swimming recently? Have you changed medication recently? Have you gained a bunch of weight or lost a bunch of weight recently? Have you been on an airplane recently? How are your general inflammation levels? All of these things play into whether your impressions turn out perfectly or not.
Exactly.
So if you have a perfect impression that when they build an IEM out of that, it's going to just fit in perfectly, like you've won the lottery.
Yeah.
But then one of the things that people don't think about is that, let's say you get that perfect fitting set of IEMs. You're one of the lucky ones. Well, the countdown's on, because our ears are always changing. They never stop changing. From the day you're born to the day you die, your ears are always changing. And so have fun with your perfect fitting IEMs until they don't fit perfectly anymore.
Yeah.
And then what?
Then you get a new pair of IEMs.
And hope that the next time around they fit as perfectly as they did the first time.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't get so lucky the second time. So now you've got this countdown on, and after a few years' time, and that can be accelerated by all sorts of the factors that we already talked about.
Yeah.
Now they don't even fit anymore, and now you're stuck. And so that's always been one of the built-in downsides to customs. And one of the built-in upsides to universals is that if you can get a perfect fitting universal, they can theoretically fit perfectly forever, because you can just change the tip on the end as your ears change, and you can change them with your ears.
Yeah.
The problem has been a perfect fitting universal IEM has been a myth up to this point.